This video will explain information on the Schedule tab and Connect to Build. When you first log in and click on the Schedule tab, you will see a list of all purchase order and schedule items sorted by the start date, with the earliest start date sometimes a few days prior to today all the way out into the future. But the earliest dates will be at the top of the list, and the dates further out in the future will be at the bottom of the list. And you will also notice that some items have not established any dates yet, and those will be at the very top of the list. As always, on any of these lists on the tabs, you can certainly resort the columns by clicking on the column headers. In this case, when you come into here, as I explained, the earliest dates will be near the top of the list. So I'm going to scroll down until I actually find dates. And as I said, some of these are in the past, and that just simply means that the superintendent has not completed those particular items yet. The other thing you'll notice is the very left-hand column is going to have a status. Projected meaning that is a best guess date, and further down, if you find items that are actually confirmed, what that indicates is that is a date that the superintendent believes is a very firm date, and he will have the job ready for you to show up on that date. Now, sometimes what you will see is you will see where it is confirmed. It has a particular date, and it has a little checkbox in this column right here. And the checkbox is an indicator for you that if you agree that this date is a date that you will be able to show up on the job, on this particular job, and execute this particular activity, then you simply click here to acknowledge that date. And what you'll notice is this is a two-step process. It's similar to submittals. You would put a checkbox there indicating that you will show up on 12/15 to execute this activity on this job, and then you would go through and hit the acknowledge button here. And there are some terms here basically indicating that it's somewhat of a contract, and you agree and you want to continue, and that will basically change the status. It'll remove the checkbox and put the date that you clicked the checkbox in that same column. And when this comes back, I will show you one other item on here. Don't know if you noticed, but there was an item in that area that was, and looks like there are several, but there are items here where you have a red, I guess that's red, looks kind of reddish on my monitor, but basically it will indicate red, and what that means is that at one point in time the superintendent had this marked as confirmed, meaning he would have the job ready, and any change occurred in the schedule and he modified the confirmed date to something different. And that is kind of a red flag to indicate that you may have been planning on arriving on that date, whether you had previously acknowledged or not. This will turn red if the superintendent has changed an activity that was previously confirmed on this list. So it's kind of a red flag for you, just to perhaps you've already got a schedule established somewhere and you need to look in here and change that. In addition, one other item is that you can typically double click anywhere on these line items to show in its entirety the schedule on that job. And if you notice, what will typically happen is today's date will be right here, and the entire schedule from today's date out into the future is going down the list, and above this gray line, if you scroll upward, are previously planned activities prior to. And there's a projected on the ones that have not been completed or confirmed is in yellow, the projected is in light blue, and activities that have already been completed are in green. So you can actually come in here excuse me, come in here and somewhat track the progress of where the job is currently at. As the superintendent completes and approves purchase order activities, that the approval of the payment will also complete these activities, and you can track to see how far along the job is in relationship to today's date. And one last item is what you'll find is the accuracy of these dates is probably highly dependent on the superintendent who does the scheduling and executes the construction of each home. And as you become familiar with that superintendent and I guess his tendencies, you will know if these dates are accurate and reliable. And if there are ever any questions about a specific job, you can certainly come in here, locate the community, and figure out who the superintendent is on that particular job and give him a call, give that superintendent, him or her, a call to figure out if the dates are accurate or not.